What's up, friends? Been wanting to do this video for a while now, but I just haven't had the time for it. But I want to go over what is the mechanical advantage of an incline plane on, let's say, a hack squat or leg press. Not all leg presses and hack squats have necessarily an incline plane, like a right angle structure, but a lot of them do, so I wanted to go over it. Let's get started by saying that I'm going to take a look at this from a statics point of view, because I just want to know the minimum force required to get that weight started up the incline plane. I got this dry erase board here and some dry erase markers, different colors to kind of, divide it up good and so you can see it better. But this is all I have, and that's all. That's what I gotta use is a dry erase board and some dry erase markers. So first we want to draw a free body diagram, and that's just a diagram of the structure with external forces shown. So let's get to that. Here we have our free body diagram. So we have our system. This is a hack squat. Just decided to do a hack squat because it's just what I decided to do. Where we have our angle theta down here, and we have our normal force right here, which is not really what we're calculating, but I decided that I put it on here because this is a free body diagram. And I also have what we're looking for right here, force, and we have our weight, the x straight down, weight always x straight down, which is the product of mass and gravity, which is a variation in Newton's second law. And I drew out the vector components of that weight that are going in the same direction as this coordinate system, which is arbitrary. It's determined by the person doing the problem. That's just what I decided to do because it makes the problem a bit easier. And we also have these assumptions, which I'm saying no friction, which this thing should be pretty lubed up, and it's rigid body, meaning that it's non-deformable, which are both really good assumptions. So let's get to equations. We want to use some forces in the x direction equals 0, and that's because there's no acceleration, so F equals ma, Newton's second law, goes to 0. And we're going to do that both in the x and y direction based off this coordinate system, where this way is positive in the x direction and this way is positive in the y direction, based off that coordinate system, which the sign just determines the direction. So what we want to do is we want to sum the forces in the x direction. So we look at this, we look at our coordinate system, and we see that the normal force is going completely into the x direction. So we put normal force right there. And then we say, oh, well, the force we're looking for is going completely in the y direction. So that's not what we're doing. And we want to get this weight in the x direction, this component, because the weight actions straight down, so you can't do that in either x or y, so you have to break it up into its components. But how do you get this weight component in the x direction? Well, that's where you have to apply some trig. Make this a right. As you see, this is a right angle triangle where you can apply SOHCAHTOA. Where this just means sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent theta equals opposite over adjacent. Where if we were looking at this angle, which will be, if you translate this angle down here up and then you bring it around, it'll be the exact same angle. So this theta is exactly the same angle right here. So we can put theta right there. And by that, this is the opposite side because it's opposite to that angle. This is the adjacent side, and this is the hypotenuse, which is always across from the right angle. A lot of y'all probably already know this. I just want to go over it because some of y'all might not know it or knew it, but you kind of forgot. Some of you might have took trig, some of you might took even physics, but I just want to go over it real quick. So if we look at this, we know this. If we take our mass, let's say we're doing 20.4 kilograms, and I didn't actually go over my units right here. Sorry about that. I'm using the international system of units where mass is in kilograms, acceleration is meters per second squared, gravity is 9.81 meters per second squared, and force equals newtons, which is the product of mass and acceleration, where the units is kilograms, meters per second squared, if you break down newtons. Sorry about that. So if we take our weight and we say 20.4 kilograms, and multiply it by gravity, 9.81 meters per second squared, we get approximately 200 newtons. So let me write that down real quick. So we know that side, we know the hypotenuse, and we want, for the x component, we want to know this. So that's the adjacent, and that's the hypotenuse. So we use hopefully that was in the screen. This is the hypotenuse, we know that, and we know we want this side, so we want to use cosine theta adjacent over hypotenuse. Sorry, I'm trying to go fast to keep this thing short. So you got cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And if we just do some algebra, this turns into h cosine theta equals adjacent, where the h is the 200 newtons and the a is the weight in the x direction. So let's write that down. Now we have to notice that this component is going in the opposite direction to what our coordinate system is showing. So we have to say negative. So I'm going to say plus a negative 200 newtons times cosine theta, and that's equal to 0, because this thing's not moving. It's in equilibrium. So we got that. And then that's all our x components. So then for our y direction, we want to say we got our force, which is what we're looking for, is it's going all in the y direction. So we say F, we got our weight, our component of our weight in the y direction, which is, we're going to use sine because this is our opposite side. We know this hypotenuse. So we use so sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. So it's going to be sine theta, h sine theta equals O, opposite, which is your weight in the y direction. So let's put that up here. Hopefully y'all see that. I'm sorry if I'm mixing it up. H sine theta equals O, opposite. Let me write that down. Negative 200 newtons sine theta. And this is equal to 0. So we got that. We got our two equations for two unknowns, which was the normal force and the force that we're actually wanting. If you apply that using our calculator, which I forgot to get that out, so let me get that out real quick. Great calculator. Definitely suggest it to anybody who's doing any advanced classes, calculus, differential equations, even if you're in physics or dynamics or statics or whatever. You definitely want to get one of these. This is a TI-89 titanium. So if we apply this, so if we do some algebra, we see that the force that we're looking for is going to be 200 newtons sine theta. Just doing some algebra there, moving this over to the other side of the equation. And let's say we're doing it for 45 degrees. So 45 degrees. So plugging that into, sorry, F equals 200 newtons sine 45 degrees. So plugging that into the calculator, this is probably making some noise. It gives you force equals 141.42 if we're rounding newtons. So that's how much you're actually doing. If you want to, you can divide that by your mass, gravity, and get your mass, which just divide by 9.81. That'll come out to like 14 point something kilograms. But let's see what the ratio is so we can get a percentage of the weight that we're actually doing. So with the ratio, we're just doing a part out of a whole. So 141.42 newtons over 200 newtons. Hopefully this is in the screen. That comes out, if we multiply that by 100 to get into a percentage, that comes out to be 70.7%. So for 45-degree angle, you're doing 70.7% of the weight. Well, let's look at it for if you're doing like a 30-degree angle. So it comes out to a force of 100 newtons, so that ratio would be 50%. So if you're at a 30-degree angle, you're only doing 50% of the weight that you have on there. So that's it, guys. Hopefully that was informative. Hopefully it was pretty detailed. I thank y'all for watching. It's getting really sunny. I'm getting terribly hot out here. I don't like that this thing's off, so I can't really tell what I'm looking at. Looks like it's about to rain. So with that being said, please like, comment, subscribe if you want. Peace.